Hi guys, it's Crystal with Design Bundles. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do print and cut with your Silhouette. So let's go ahead and get started. Over here in Silhouette Studio, let's go ahead and start by opening our PNG and bringing it in. Now I've already told this that I'm using the 15 by 15 mat because I'm using the Silhouette Plus. And then I've already told it that we're using 8.5 by 11 paper. And then I also told it I wanted to be able to see the borders. That's what that gray is right there. So I know how big I can print this. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to go ahead and lock this and then bring it down. So you can see over there in the width, I typed in 6 inches to bring this down because this design came in quite large. Now you can go ahead and use these corners just like so to kind of, figure out your sizing as well. Or once again, you can definitely type it in up there in your width and height to get those exact measurements. All right, so now we are ready to print this. So what we're going to go ahead and do is scroll down here to print, and then we're going to go ahead and send it over to our printer. Today I'm using the Epson because this is sublimation. So as you guys can see here, the colors come in much lighter. At first I tried the registration marks and the Silhouette could not read them. Next up, what you want to do is go ahead and dry this. So what you're going to do is go ahead and set those inks. You want to do that for a minute. I'm just hovering right on top. I'm not letting the Cricut Easy Press touch this. So you want to do that for about a minute. And now we're going to go ahead and load this onto our cutting mat. So like I said, just ignore those registration marks. That's why I showed you before they weren't there. They are here, but the machine is not actually using them. Now that our mat is ready, let's go ahead and send this over to the machine. So we're going to go ahead and hit the send button here. And then we're going to choose heat transfer smooth. Now you can leave the settings like this and it definitely will cut it out. It's basically just like Caesar Easy Weed. So these settings are perfect, but I do like to bump mine up a little bit. So I'm going to bring it up to 3 and then I'm going to bring my force up to around 10. So like I said, you definitely could just use heat transfer smooth and you'll be totally fine. All right, so now we are ready to send this over to the machine. Now, when it comes to Caesar Easy Subli, you don't need to mirror this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send as is. So let's go ahead and get over to the machine and get ready to load this. So I'm going to go ahead and just load this. You want to just make sure that you load everything in nice and straight. All right, so now we are ready to go. It's going to go ahead and bring it in there. The auto blade is going to do its thing and change and get ready to zip right around this thing. So I'm going to go ahead at this point. I'm at the computer and I've hit send, obviously, and it's going to go ahead and zip around and cut everything out just like so. Now, when it comes to the print and cut, it's just going to go all the way around these outside borders for us. If you guys want to see something about stickers, we definitely have that here on the channel, so definitely check it out. I'll have a link down below. All right, so let's go ahead and unload this. So we're going to hit the unload button, and then let's go ahead and take this back over to the table here and get it off. So I'm going to go ahead and flip mine upside down. It just kind of helps to remove this. I do like the Silhouette mats because they are very pliable. All right, so now we are ready to weed this out. So we're just going to go ahead and weed it just as if you were weeding, like I said, Caesar Easy Weed, just some basic HTV. So I'm just going to go ahead and weed this. Now, the one thing about Caesar Easy Subli is that this is just like a carrier sheet, if you will. Helps us cut it out. We have to take this off. So don't try to press this until this is removed. Now, if you have a bunch of small pieces, you may want to get you some, carrier sheets. You would apply that first just like you would if you had heat transfer vinyl. Now, this is a big piece, so we don't need a carrier sheet. So let's go ahead and take our Cricut Easy Press here. I've got it at 315 for 15 seconds. Now, if you were using a heat press, you'd do around 312 for 15 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-press this and pull out any sort of moisture, smooth down those wrinkles, and you want to make sure that you have lint rolled as well. So now all we have to do is go ahead and line this up. I like to let it cool for just a second because it is hot and this is heat transfer. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, figure out about my placement. I think this looks great. Now keep in mind this is sublimation, so my design looks very dull right now, but once we press it, it's going to be very vibrant. So I'm going to go ahead and take a parchment paper on top. This is going to protect our heat press. So I'm going to go ahead and press this for 315 for 15 seconds, medium pressure. All right, so it looks good. We're going to go ahead and move this out of our way and then move our parchment paper and you're good to go. So you can see how nice this is. And we cut this out with that print and cut super fast. Now I want to take this a step further. This is HTV, so we can layer more HTV on top. So I've just cut out some basic black HTV here so we can personalize it. So right now I'm just trying to figure out about where I want this placement to be. So I'm going to go ahead and place it somewhere right around here. This would also be super cute with some flocked HTV or maybe even some glitter. So we're going to go ahead and add that parchment paper back on top. And this time we're doing 315 for 20 seconds. So you could do 315 between 20 to 30 seconds for that vinyl. You just want to make sure that you do protect your heat press with that parchment paper because of those sublimation inks. So I'm going to go ahead and let this kind of cool down because it is a cold peel, and then we are ready to peel it away. So there you have it. Now when it comes to Siser Easy Supply, it is very pliable. It's just like, like I said, HTV, it feels the same, so it's super pliable. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.